plasma, and he spoke about it, only caught from cats. It's a trick question. Okay, let's have a look. Up the back there, there's a person up there wearing a little hat, I can see, with a grey jacket. Hang on, somebody's going to come to you with a microphone. Third last row, I think it is.
No.
Okay, a bit more information. Where else can you get that disease from? You can ask somebody.
Dogs.
Maybe. Eating stuff, eh? Eating stuff.
Goats, sheep.
Excellent. Let's give this young man a well done. It's $50 miles after coming your way. Next question, please, Andy. Oh, here's something that you have always wondered about. When you go to the Amazon River in South America and you're swimming in the water and you feel an urge to do certain things, is it true that there is a fish that lives there that can swim, you know where, while you're doing what you're doing? We're streaming this to kids upstairs, so I don't want to be too explicit. I think you know what I'm talking about. Is urethral candidiasis a real phenomenon? Let's look at the next slide, and there's a movie for you. Oops. Lost our movie. That's an interesting question, isn't it? What do you think about it?
Parasites come in many forms. One of the weirdest inhabits the remote reaches of the Amazon. Its grisly story sometimes involves people. One of the Amazon's commonest fish is the catfish. It often plays host to another, far smaller fish. This is the candiru, a parasite of fish gills. For the catfish, there is nowhere to hide. A trail of urea and ammonia streams from its gills. The candiru simply swims in circles until it picks up the scent. The signal becomes stronger as the fish approaches. It slips inside unnoticed. Spines in the candiru's head gaff the fish, securing it as it sucks blood from the gills. The worst that can happen to a parasite is to end up in the wrong host. The worst that can happen to a human is to become the wrong host to a candiru. Urinating in the water is unwise. The same cues of current and urea lure the candiru deep inside.
BBC. But is it true? Is it true? Andy, is it true?
I believe it could be.
This is a spiny little fish, and it is a parasite. It does get into the gills of catfish. What do you reckon? Anyone have an opinion? Anyone from South America? Yeah, up there. On fourth last row on the right-hand side, a lady in a blue top. Yep, that's you. I don't know your name yet. I'll know it by the end of the night, but I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's true because we saw it on River Monsters.
You saw it on River Monsters, yeah? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone been to the Amazon? Anyone been to the Amazon and, well, done what you do in the Amazon? Yeah? Anyone? No? No opinion. You know, somebody's just written a paper, a scientific article on that, where they have reviewed the literature. And this person could not find a single substantiated case of this fish doing what it's supposed to do in humans. It does get into other fish and causes disease in them, but there's no real evidence case of this fish causing that condition in humans. There is one report, but there's a lot of questions about whether that report's really valid. So what she thinks happened was when people from Europe first went to South America and they got into the Amazon region, they were speaking to the villagers who lived there, and of course the language was a bit hard, and they asked them, what are we going to look out for in the Amazon River? And somebody said, apparently you've got to watch out for fish that swim into certain places when you're having a pee. And that became almost like Chinese whispers. It spread around the world because it's a very interesting thing to talk about. But it probably isn't true. What I suspect happened was that maybe there were some people there who were speaking with the visitors from Europe, and they told them, well, you've got to watch out for this catfish, and then went back to their campfires and to their villages and said, you know what we told those people from Europe? There's this fish there. Those Europeans, they believe anything. However, there's one way we could find out. And Andy and I are taking volunteers for an expedition to the Amazon River. All you've got to do is drink a few drinks that we give you and let nature take its course, and we'll just stand on the banks and wait for the screams if they arrive. So, my answer is no, but it's a controversial question.
Yep.
We really don't know. Next question, please. All right, can vegetarians be infected with tapeworm larvae? Can this happen? Yeah, question down the front, answer down the front there.
Yes.
Yes, of course. And the example is, our next slide, is the lead singer from Friends Will Wrong.
Yep.
Yep. Now, and of course, it's a tapeworm. This tapeworm what is transited between pigs and humans, and humans can become infected with the eggs. It was widespread around the world, as Andy said. I heard about the disease and have seen situations where it has been transmitted in the past in Korea. South of Korea, there is a lovely island called Jeju Island. It's a honeymoon island in Korea. If you ever want to go and get married, go to Jeju Island. It's just a fantastic, beautiful place to be. Some of the indigenous people used to feast on this particular delicacy called black pigs. And of course, to feed the pigs, they came up originally with this really inventive idea. Why don't we put the pigs in an enclosure and we'll use the pigs to deal with our human wastes. And so they fashioned a toilet just at the very corner of the pig pen, and people used to toddle off to the corner of the pig pen and do their business, and the pigs would come and remove the waste later on and would get some feed, and then eventually the humans would eat those pigs and the disease would transmit between pigs and humans. You'll notice that in the corner we have the area where it's the toilet, there's a pig there feeding, there's a stick there. And the stick had a very important role. Sometimes the pigs like to eat their food warm. And so, anyway, let's move on to the next slide. None of these are prize questions, are they? Prize questions still coming?
You'll see the red.
Okay, good. Can tapeworms in people grow to 5 meters in length or more? Yeah, question, answer down the front there. You have to yell with a big voice if you don't mind. Yes, that's right, yes. Tapeworms in humans, the beef tapeworm in particular, can grow up to about 10 meters in length. There is a tapeworm that has been removed from a human there, or from some animal, but there's a long tapeworm, and it's quite long, and there's a source. People become infected by eating undercooked or raw meat. In the case of a beef tapeworm, one is infected by eating undercooked beef, and it's transmitted to humans and back again through predation and feeding in various circumstances. Next question, please, Andy. Hey. can parasites help you lose weight? This is something that I would love an answer to. Can parasites help you lose weight? We've got another slide coming up, have we?
The answer's on the next slide. So
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, just there.
Yes, but it's probably not a very advisable way to lose weight.
Why not?
Oh, just because you don't end up being really unhealthy and possibly malnourished.
Yeah. What do you think?
yeah,
Yeah? Anyone else?
I think that wins the prize.
Yeah, we'll give you the prize. Excellent.
There's the answer now.
Used to be marketed in recent years, tapeworm pills to help you lose weight. If you were getting a bit porky, as I am, then a dose of tapeworms might help you to lose weight. Next slide, please, Andy.
Can I just, a little anecdote.
Yeah, sure.
The opera singer Maria Callas, she had a problem controlling her weight. She accidentally became infected by steak tartare with a tapeworm, and she was finding that her weight was really under control, and she elected not to treat it, or so the rumour goes.
We got some photographs here of people who have had parasitic infestation. This lady on the far right-hand side of the screen grew up in China with a disease called schistosomiasis. And it's thought by the people who studied her, the clinicians, that her growth was stunted. She's an adult, she's about 50 years of age. Her growth has been stunted by the fact that she carried many, many parasites of this particular species and perhaps other parasites in her early years. So parasites can cause stunted growth and other development problems. I love this photograph. This little boy is carrying a board to which are pinned worms. And all of those worms came from his intestines. This photograph was taken back in the 1920s. He carried all these worms. Susan talked about ascarids. Same group of worms, but these are ones that live in humans regularly. And he had that many living inside them, and he was treated, and he excreted all of those worms and took a photograph back in the 1920s. I think it's quite an interesting photograph. We have a photograph of these ascarids lining up there, and sometimes you get them, as Susan said, in such large numbers that they can block and occlude the intestine. Okay, let's move on. Are parasites used to cure diseases? Parasites used to cure, yeah, we got an answer there. Just put your hand right up high in the air. Yeah. Okay, I think we can hear it. Yeah.
I heard you could use parasites to cure a disease that I think it's some sort of intestine disease.
Yep.
Let's give this young man a clap. Yeah, a lot of immune diseases of the intestine, inflammatory bowel diseases, things like Crohn's diseases have been shown to be treated to some extent by infecting a person with parasites. And what they think is happening is that the parasites somehow retrain the immune system and the immune responses. And one such example is this parasite here called the whipworm. It's called a whipworm because it looks like a whip. A whip that you crack, it's got a very thin end and a thick end at the other end. Great description in it, but it looks like a whip. And it lives in the intestine, and it has this capacity to retrain the immune responses. That's what the eggs look like, and people can market these things. They get them from human waste material, and they...
Oh, no, this is the pig one.
A pig one, of course, yes. So they can use ones that don't normally infect people to do the same sort of effect. Yep, okay. Next slide.